Hey everybody, Robert with RC Archery. This week's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm actually going to be giving you a segment of a video that I sell. This video that I sell is all about holding steadier on target. I give you a step-by-step platform to build from the ground up on exactly what to do with your body, with your bow setup, cam let-off adjustment, draw length, loop length, shot execution, the way that you're building tension in your body. All of that information is in this. And this segment specifically that you're going to see today is actually about how to draw your bow, how to address a target, how to adjust your body whether you're shooting up or downhill, or maybe even indoors if you're shooting at a really tall or low target. And it's also going to give you some information on how to self-diagnose and self-help yourself with your draw length. So I'm going to show you step-by-step on some information that I give to people that I coach and work with on what they can do along with filming themselves or standing in a mirror to see exactly how to change their draw length to help them hold steadier on target. So I hope you enjoy this video today. If you'd like to see the entire video that I sell, I'll put a link to that in the description below. It'll be a link for all the videos that I have. This one is going to be the newest one that's about holding steadier on target. It was filmed last January, February, something like that, earlier in the year when it was still cold. So my dress and my attire is completely different than what you see today. But again, I hope you enjoy this video. I appreciate you watching and I appreciate all your support on my channel here on YouTube, getting to 10,000 subscribers. Y'all are awesome, and this is a little give back to you, some free content for you.
So looking at me right now on the target, my camera is incredibly zoomed in. I'm at a field target face here with a 65-yard downhill shot. It actually equates to about a 12-degree downhill shot. I'll zoom out for you and let you see it. It's pretty impressive because I actually have to go up and down holding rails and stairs that they've built in on the side of this cliff out here. This type of shot makes the way that we draw our bow and the way that we address the target extremely important. Now, the way that we draw our bow and the way that we're going to handle setting up on target is important even in indoor rounds when you're standing on flat ground, but it's much more important when you get to here. Now that's a totally different view from what you saw a moment ago to what you're seeing right now. And when we're drawing our bow, the biggest thing when it's talking about holding steady is, again, how we use our bow shoulder. Why is the bow shoulder so incredibly important? Well, it's because that's what's holding the bow, and our bow arm is not supported by anything. It's just out. It's outreach. It's dangling out from the body. And in order to get steadiest here, we have to address the shoulder joint correctly. What I talk to my archers that I coach and what I use when we're working together is I tell them to stand up in a mirror and hold your hands completely at your side. Lift them up and hold them out, outreach here. This motion right here, this is what we're looking for. You don't want to be bent at the arm, you don't want to lift up and then stretch out, you don't want to do any of that. You want to just be here, lift up straight. Now, the reason that I say this is the best when it comes to how we're shooting our bow is because I'm not here. It's very awkward to have to hold my shoulder in and lift it up. It's weird. And I'm not stretched way out having to lean my body and do this. When I'm lifting my arms straight up from my side, this joint is completely in a natural position. It's repeatable, it's easy to get to every time. And it's also going to be allowing the shoulder to be completely under our torso. And again, our core muscles are going to have a stabilizing factor when it comes to the way that we draw our bow. When we take our bow and put it in our hand, it should be no different. We need to adjust the draw length on our bow to match our body versus changing our body to match the bow. It's the biggest thing that I see a problem with, especially if you've gone to a pro shop. Pro shops aren't going to look at that and micro adjust your draw length. It was a huge reason why I bought a bow press, learned to work on my own equipment, and then eventually got draw boards and other tools as well. A big thing that I see with a lot of archers is when I'm working with them initially and I tell them, lift your bow up from your arm, from your side rather, with your bow arm, exactly the way you did without a bow, and they lift it up. They can't draw it back to a natural position where I am right here. That came directly to my nose and my face, exactly how I need to anchor. A lot of the times what I'll see is their draw length was too short. Now I'm gonna stretch my arm out here and I'm gonna exaggerate what I'm letting you see. So don't do that, but as an example, on the gap from the string to the face, a lot of the times this is what I see, because people have gotten over the your draw length is too long phase and they've overcompensated and made it too short. So normally what I'll see is an archer, he draws back and he's here. String can't get to his face at all. Now when I work with an archer with my coaching, I have a computer program set up that I actually can be able to show the draw length changes and the loop length changes that I can do with them. It gets you in an optimal position. I can usually get you within 1/8 to 1/16 of perfect through the total of the two distances. Now, what it'll allow you to do if you're doing this, video yourself just like what I'm doing here. Look at the gap. Look at it differently though. I'm gonna draw the bow back one more time, because a lot of the times what archers will see is the string is an inch away from their nose. So they think I need an inch longer draw length, and what they do is they end up getting too stretched out. What you need to compensate for is the string angle and your anchor point. So if I draw the bow back out here and I'm short, you can see that my hand is anchoring closer to my chin. The natural shape of our face, that's a lower anchoring point. If I bring this bow up to my normal anchor point, you can see it's higher on my face. And if I come out and I adjust that an inch back and then I bring that closer to my body and then try to anchor, the angle of the string and the way that it's going to do is actually going to come too far back on your face. So keep that in mind. If you're an inch away from your face, start with 1/2 inch. Draw the bow back exactly in that same position as we've gone over at the first part of this video, and adjust in micro amounts from there. So if you're in between, which most archers will be, you need to figure out how you need to adjust that. Now, at the end of this video, when we get to the portion that I'm talking about setting up our bow to hold steadier, I'm gonna address this a little bit more, because I'm actually going to address the let off and your holding weight and whether to start at a higher or a lower draw length setting to adjust when you're in between. All right, now to wrap all this up, I was explaining at the first of this segment that the way that we draw our bow and then what we do with that to set up our upper body makes a big difference when we're aiming up and downhill, right? And what I'm meaning by this is that we don't want this position to change. That's our body's natural draw length. Our bow is set up to that draw length, and that's where our stability comes from, right? So in order to keep this from changing, what we have to do is bend at our waist. On a short, lower target, like what we're working with here with this downward angle, I'll show you what that looks like really quick. Now, there's two different ways you can do this. What I want you to do is find a safe area when you're starting this out, because you need to see what the muscles are gonna feel like and how this works. What I'm gonna have you do is bring the bow up and draw it back, our hand just above the bow shoulder, and then come into anchor and settle. Now that hand needs to stay at or above the bow shoulder, and the reason we do that is because we look at it like a seesaw effect. If that hand is above the shoulder or even with it, it transfers and shifts the weight back to our core, makes it easier to hold the bow up on target. If that hand is below the shoulder, makes it harder to hold the bow up because it shifts all the weight to our hand. So play around with that and feel the differences there and adjust your body to be able to do that. Starting out again, what I'm gonna do, draw the bow back like normal, hand just above the bow shoulder. And then what I'm gonna do from here is bend at the waist and get to where I need to be in order to address this target. And you can see that keeps everything in my upper body in the same position and allows me to stay as steady as possible. If you don't do this and you drop your bow arm, that will make the distance increase from your bow hand to your face, and it'll actually essentially make your body's draw length longer, and you'll have to start scrunching up the bow shoulder. That's gonna cause problems. Now, on the flip side of this, when you have a really high target, when you draw back, you're gonna do the same thing and you're gonna lean back at the waist. If you don't lean back at the waist and you lift your bow hand up, you're gonna essentially make your body's draw length shorter. And then that string comes too far back, you get your arm stretching out more, and then you lose a ton of stability when you stretch that arm out too far.